I found the envelope lying on the kitchen counter, folded crisp, official. My parents' handwriting scrawled across the front, but it wasn't a card, wasn't a note. It was a statement from the bank. 6 months of missed rent. My sister had been living in my property for free. My parents had known. Mom had said, almost proudly, "She's struggling, unlike you." I had smiled, calm. Inside, the storm was already forming. It started months ago. I had inherited that property, a small, neat apartment downtown. I had worked for it, saved for it, planned for it. Then, in a single breath, my family had assumed ownership rights. My sister, my supposed blood, moved in with her furniture and her dog. Rent? Never mentioned. Agreement? Never signed. They didn't even ask. And I had trusted them, trusted that family didn't require confrontation to act ethically. I had been naive. I remember the first time I realized something was off. Mom would call, not to check on me, but to update me about my sister's needs. "She's been having a tough month," she'd say. Always a subtle jab, the implication hovering over me. My success had created distance. My independence had made me cold. I bit my tongue. I smiled. I nodded. Because I knew. The messages piled up. Every minor complaint from my sister. Every casual remark about bills I was supposedly ignoring. The pattern emerged slowly, like cracks in a concrete wall. I noticed the way my father flinched when I brought up the property. How Mom's eyes darted to the floor whenever I mentioned contracts, leases, or tenants. The evidence built itself in plain sight, but I waited. Patience was my weapon. I didn't call. I didn't demand. I planned. Step 1, legal footing. I revisited my lease agreement. Paperwork meticulous. Bank records airtight. Every clause, every letter, every email copied and timestamped. Step 2, pressure. I quietly informed the management company that the unit would be under strict oversight. Any friends or family occupying without formal rental agreements would be considered trespassing. Step 3, timing. I knew confrontation had to be precise, surgical, not a fight, not an argument, a revelation. And so I watched. My sister, oblivious, paraded her temporary victory. My parents, smug, congratulating themselves on their generosity. They thought I was unaware, that I was somehow the oblivious one. But I had the advantage they couldn't see. Calm, collected, patient. I let them live in the illusion. Then the letter arrived, from the bank. It detailed the overdue rent, listed the arrears, itemized the interest. It was a clear, undeniable reflection of their audacity. 6 months! My sister had lived free. My parents had sanctioned it. I didn't react immediately. I waited another week, letting the weight of it settle into their minds. When I finally called, it was deliberate, my voice calm, measured. "I received the bank statement," I said, letting the words hang. "You know what this means." Silence. Mom's voice trembled first. We thought," I cut her off. "Thought what? That I wouldn't notice? That I'd let it slide?" The confrontation was slow. Every word I spoke laid out the framework of their betrayal. Every pause let the reality sink in. I could see it, the flinch, the disbelief, the shame. I had orchestrated it so that they understood fully. I had been aware all along, and now justice, my justice, would be unavoidable. And yet, I didn't scream, I didn't rage, I didn't demand apologies. I simply sent the official notice. Back rent due, penalties applied, and immediate vacancy required. I watched as they scrambled, realizing the financial weight of their choices. My sister called, panicked, but I stayed firm. "The property isn't yours to live in," I said. Short, final. When the apartment was finally vacated, I walked through it alone. The air smelled faintly of her perfume and the dog's fur. I ran my hand along the counter, along the banister, and I imagined the relief that would come from reclaiming what was mine. Not just the property, but the principle, the lesson. I didn't feel anger anymore. I felt something sharper, quiet triumph. I had let them underestimate me. I had watched their arrogance blossom and then crumble under the weight of their own misjudgment. I hadn't shouted, I didn't cry, I had won with patience, calculation, and timing. Mom never called again about her struggles. My sister avoided my number. My father's glances carried a new respect, fear even, and I smiled quietly to myself. I had built more than a property. I had built boundaries. I had built proof that family could not exploit what was mine, that trust was earned, not assumed, and that sometimes the most satisfying revenge was simply letting the truth unfold and letting them witness the collapse of their own assumptions.